This is element G. Basically, this element is where we started creating our prototype, our physical component of what this presentation is all about. In previous elements, we kind of planned out how and what we wanted this creation to look like. For us, we wanted this to be an AR technology that helps you do self checkups at home. So you're able to do checkups with your family, friends, whoever it may be. You're able to do those at home without the need of a doctor or some other medical professional. So creating this prototype, in order to move forward with this, we need three things. We need knowledge of what we're going to make, the materials, and the tools to make it. So let's start off with knowledge. Since this project that we're personally doing is a lot more computer science based, we need stuff like what we're going to code with and the programs we're going to code with. Now, the physical aspect of this will be the MetaQuest that we're provided. We're going to use the MetaQuest and its AR technology in order to program it into what we want it to do. So, again, we're going to need our coding programs. We're going to need the Meta Horizon programs, which is what the Meta uses to create apps and stuff. And basic medical knowledge, as this is something that you'll be using to do basic medical checkups. So materials. This is kind of a bill of materials. This is kind of what it would cost you and what it would need to build this yourself. So you would need stuff like the MetaQuest. You'd need Meta Horizons, computer science programs, or optional, you would need a heat sensor. That's something else that plays into the medical aspect of this creation, this prototype. Tools. Again, since this is a lot more computer science based, instead of constructing something ourselves, we don't need something like a wrench or a screwdriver, stuff like that. We more need the programs that are needed in order to program the MetaQuest device into what we needed to do. So our tools are stuff like Meta Horizons or whatever we're coding with, whatever you're coding with. Plan of action. So this is just us listing out step by step what we're going to do. We might not follow this completely, but this is kind of a plan of action of this prototype, plan of action of creating this prototype. So MetaQuest onboarding, of course, we're going to have to teach the setup of it, how you're going to use the MetaQuest, and how the program is functioned. Train user for the controls that plays into it, and introduce how to operate app. Our app is going to be relatively simple to understand, not simple in the programming, but we're going to try to make it relatively simple to understand and be user-friendly. Next, we have the Meta Horizons training. So this is the app itself. This is the AR features and kind of teaching how to interact with your surroundings, interact with the patient through the MetaQuest. Medical basics. This is stuff like hygiene, teaching vital measurements, what the heart rate is supposed to be at, temperature, what those are supposed to be at, and how to read them properly. And then obviously equipment and stuff. Medical procedures for simulation. Again, this is how you use the AR technology in a medical sense. How you're gonna get all the data needed through what is the AR technology is showing you. And then we have the testing. So this is for us how we're gonna test to make sure our system is running as it should be. This is done through interval testing, which is basically where you take different segments of the program and test as you go. So there's stuff like prototype testing, which is kind of the physical aspect of it, so the comfort, how it interacts with you, how realistic it looks. Usability, so obviously if the MetaQuest is just falling apart, that's not usable, right? It's stuff like that. Medical accuracy. So this could look like as it takes your temperature. Maybe the next second we also take your temperature to see if they correlate at least somewhat similar. Obviously, if it's a percentage or two off, that's not as big as a deal. Stress test, so this is kind of how durable it is. And then the final user assessment, which is all of it in total, if it works or not, how other people feel using it or it being used on them, stuff like that. And then maintenance and updates that we might have to do later on. Increment testing, as I said earlier, there's two parts to this. There's subsystems and then the testing plan. So subsystems, obviously, our thing as a whole is the MetaQuest and the AR features, but there's different subsystems to this, such as the sensors, the user interfaces, which is stuff that the user sees as they're wearing it. So like the overlays or prompts that pop up like text, stuff like that. Medical evaluation modules, again, this is like the vitals, the temperature, stuff like that. Questionnaires, or things that are guiding the person who's using it, guiding him through what they have to check for. Recommendations. So this program is designed so it catches trends. Maybe you have high temperatures through a certain amount of days, or maybe your temperature is rising up, and that might be a sign of fever, stuff like that. Red flags, things like that. Integration layers, this is the APIs for wearables. This is the physical aspect of that. System control and safety is kind of what it sounds like. Is it safe to use, safe to wear, comfortable, things like that. Increment testing plan. Again, this is kind of what I explained earlier. This is the different sections of creating this and testing it as we go. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, as it's very similar to what I said earlier, but it's right here. And yeah, that's where the photos would go, but you know.